What's going on, guys? Welcome to Hawaii Knife and Gear on this beautiful TwoSun Tuesday. First off, I just want to say another big thanks out to JB from Big Red EDC for stopping out last week. Had a great time hanging out, checking out some knives, so thanks again for that. Today I have kind of a few that I wanted to show you. I don't have a whole lot of time today to make this video, so we're going to try and do it in one take and get through all of my new ones here that I want to show you today. So let's begin with one that I think is really, really good. This is clearly one of my new favorite TwoSun knives, and I say that for, quite a few of them. They do come out with good stuff all the time, so it's hard to pick favorites sometimes, but this is a good one. This is definitely a good one. This is the new TS 223 from Jelly Jerry Design, and all the way around, this is a great knife. I mean, just fits really well in your hand. It's a good full-size knife. Sorry, all I have is my ugly old work tape measure today, but still does the job. So this one is 8 1/4 inches overall, so fits my size requirements. And then weight on this guy, looking at 4.67 ounces. So this to me is just about as perfect as you can get for just a regular everyday carry pocket knife. It's got a really nice big belly to it. Beautiful milled carbon fiber. This is a bolster lock knife. See, titanium. Really nice milling on the pocket clip. Has a very well designed pocket clip. Goes into the pocket super easy. So I was very impressed with this one. The blade on this thing, really, it's such a clean blade shape and design. Nice big belly to it, and then the spine is not 90 degrees. It has a really little micro chamfer up at the top here along the edge, but other than that, it's just a big wide flat grind. Sharp. I mean, this thing cuts like a laser beam. Just super sharp, and then extremely thin down behind the edge. So you want a really slicey knife, this is going to be one for you. So if I had to take a guess, I would say this is one that they're probably going to upgrade the blade steel on at some point. This one is in the 14C 28N Sandvik, and just from seeing what TwoSun has been doing this past year, I would say this one might get an upgrade to S90V at some point. But yeah, just really like this one a lot. It's got a great flipper tab to it. The action is just perfect. Nice jimping there. It's just a good shape that catches your finger easily and just comes flying right out. So great knife overall. Really, really impressed with this one. So this is the TS 223 from Jelly Jerry Design. I'll leave that guy out here, and the next one that is really, really good. This is one that I've been waiting and have been trying to get for a while now. It was out of stock. They finally found one for me. So this is the TS 190 by Night Morning Design. And this one easily is new top 10 material. I am absolutely thrilled with this guy. It is perfect size in your hand. Has this really nice, kind of reminds you of an antique butcher knife type blade. I'm not sure exactly what you would call that, kind of a Skinner blade, slightly upswept, but just a really good looking knife. It's got a great clip on it, beautiful milling, goes up about halfway and then kind of creates this look of a bolster up at the top. So just a really good looking knife, man. So I was happy they finally found one for me. This one is also in 14C 28N, and I, again, would think that this one is probably a candidate to get a an upgrade on the blade steel at some point. This one seems to be selling pretty well. The price has not really dropped down all that far on these. I think I paid maybe 80, 85 bucks for this one. So really happy with this one. I like that it has a nice lanyard point down at the back. Just really comfortable in your hand. So great access for the thumb on this one. So I mean, I couldn't find a single thing that I would complain about on this knife. Not a single thing I would change. Absolutely love this one. So this is the TS-190 by Night Morning Design. So that's the good. And you'll probably see from the title of this video, I have a couple other ones that I'm going to get to here. So let's go for the bad. This guy here. I picked this one up because I like the idea. I wanted to check it out and see what it was all about. This is the TS-170, and this one is called the Jester, which kind of a fitting name for a goofy little knife like this. Unfortunately, I can't pronounce the designer's name on this guy. You're going to have to look this one up for yourself. It's, I think this is the only one that I've seen from him. But, yeah, I really like the idea of it. So I was hoping it would be a little bit bigger. You know, just from looking at the measurements online, it's sometimes hard to get an idea of how it's going to fit in your hand. I'm kind of at a loss for what a good grip on this thing would be. I think this is about the best you can get is, you know, either just a grip around the bottom like this, or maybe your middle finger in the ring, but it puts your middle finger in a weird position, kind of brings it back a little bit. So I don't know. I like the idea, but the ergonomics of it are just not there for me anyway. You can't get a reverse grip on this thing in any comfortable position. I mean, even like this, there's just nothing to hold on to here. It just doesn't feel solid in your hand. If you go all the way up into the ring, you know, this end loop here kind of is jabbing into your pinky finger in a weird spot. It's, you know, I think this is designed for somebody with much smaller hands, maybe. I don't know. So, not a winner for me. It is a nice hunk of D2 steel. It does have some nice jimping around the outside. You know, I can see the intent that they were going for, and I like where they were headed. It's just not comfortable for me. So, really cool blade grind to it though, and wicked sharp, and needle point on it. So it's cool looking, but again, this is one of their novelty type knives that just doesn't work for me. So the TS-170 Jester. And then moving on to another one that I just, you know, was kind of a fail for me. This is the TS-125. This is another Night Morning Design, and it's a good looking knife. The milling on the handle, this pattern that they did to it, the clip especially is beautiful. It has kind of a interesting little ramp design to the clip. I love the cutout for the lanyard down at the back of it. You know, so visually it's not a bad looking knife, but I'll be the first person to tell you I'm not a huge fan of thumb stud opening knives. It's just not my jam. This one, I mean, it's almost impossible to open with one thumb. Once you get it open, it's pretty comfortable in hand. You know, it's not a bad knife in hand, but the opening of it and the closing especially, I'm going to have to try and take this one apart and loosen up the tension on the lock bar, because I can't even get a thumb to open this. I literally need to take both fingers on each side of the stud and push out this direction to even open it. So that's a weird position to have to open a knife for me. And then the closing on it, it's not quite straight across, but there is very little room for your thumb to get in there. It's really tight. It's kind of sharp in there. I mean, it's just really uncomfortable to close. So this is definitely not on my list of favorites. The TS125, also in 14C28N Sandvik. You know, maybe if I can lighten up the tension on the lock bar and be able to get it to flick with one thumb, my mind may change a little bit, because I do like the big belly on it. I like kind of how it feels in hand, but personally this knife would have been great if you just put a flipper tab on it. So there you go. You can draw your own conclusions on this one. It's also not the cheapest of the new TwoSun knives to come out. This one I think I paid a little over $70 for. So, but think what you want on this one. I think still not making me a fan of thumb stud knives at all with this one. So that's the TS125. And then moving down the line, we're going to get to two more here. This is one that I have had other versions of, and I was interested in this one only because they went to a liner lock design. This is the TS85, the tank, and unfortunately I don't remember the designer's name on this one either, but this one's been out for a while. I have had both the full titanium and also the half G10 version of this one. This is the black micarta version with a liner lock rather than frame lock setup on it, and they added this nice deep carry clip. So I really like this one. It actually feels better in hand, I think, than the titanium, because it fills your hand a little bit better. The titanium one was kind of thin and felt just a little bit small in hand. This one does give you a better grip. However, the micarta, they have finished this one so smooth that it's really slick. I mean, micarta should be a little grippy in hand by nature, and this one just isn't. It is a very slippery knife. So I don't know what could be done about this one. I have, put some thought into how I might be able to modify this one and make it a little bit better in hand. I've actually thought about taking off the micarta and doing this in wood and see how this would come out, since it is a liner lock. That might be coming. So we'll see. I did want to get it just to check it out. These are not terribly expensive. I think I paid maybe $40 for this one, so it was worth getting it to see how I like the newest version. The deep carry clip is a great addition to it, and this is, a good little utility type blade for work or whatever. So, worth $40, but again, they went a little bit too high with the sanding grit on the micarta, and it's just really too slick to hold in hand. So TS85 tank. And then last on my list here of new TwoSun knives, we're going to get to the ugly. This one has been out for a really long time, actually, and it never did anything for me visually. If they would have come out with a plain black version, it's a cool shape of a knife. This is the TS62, and I passed this one over for the longest time because it originally came with this very not deep carry clip. I mean, there's a whole lot of knives sticking out with this original clip that they put on here, but somebody posted a picture showing that their new deep carry clip fits the same hole pattern, so I got one to check it out, and I happen to have an extra one of these clips that they sent me with another knife. So once I swapped it over to this deep carry clip, this is now a really nice knife. It's got a really cool blade design to it. I mean, just ergonomically, it feels really nice in hand. I just don't care for the jade colored G10 and camo look of the knife. you know, I think that just kills it for me. If they would have done a plain color, black preferably, would make this knife awesome. You know, it feels really cool in hand. The way the blade tucks in here when it's closed has a really nice look to it. So I'm going to RIT dye this one and try and get a nice dark color out of it, maybe a dark blue, or try and go for black. And after doing that, I think this is going to be a cool knife. It just needed a little bit of modification to make it work for me. So this one is in D2 steel. It has kind of a small flipper tab, but the action is really good on it. It snaps right out. The liner lock on this guy, there's enough of a cutout here in between the liners that I can get my thumb in there easy. It would have been nice if they had dropped down and gave you some thumb access there, but it's not terrible to close, so I can live with that, or take a Dremel to it, one way or the other. But kind of a neat knife. Again, this one has been out for a couple years now, and just one that I had always overlooked, but now with this deep carry clip, I think it makes it a, you know, one worth checking out. I don't know about the lanyard spot on this. It is carved out of the G10. I don't know how strong that would actually be, but there's not a whole lot of room to even feed a piece of paracord in there. So this one was asking for some modification, so I figured I'd check it out, give it a shot. And the blade shape on it really makes it worth picking up. And I think I paid maybe $28 for this one. So for a nice piece of D2 steel, it was worth getting to see what I could do with it. So this is the last one on my list of new ones today. So those are the ones that I wanted to show you guys. Sorry to dump them all on you, but I just haven't had a ton of time lately to be making videos, and they keep coming in. A lot of the ones that I had backed up in the pipeline coming from China are all starting to arrive all at once. So I'll keep bringing them to you guys as they come in. You may think, oh my gosh, this guy has some huge collection of TwoSun knives, but you know, in fact, with what you're looking at and these ones here, that's kind of the state of my collection right now. I went through the end of last year and just got rid of a ton of the ones that I, you know, was sitting on that just never got any use and that I didn't think I was ever going to carry or love. So I ended up getting rid of a bunch of them, selling them, trading them, and kind of starting fresh with a whole new collection of stuff. And yeah, kind of happy with some of these new ones that have come in. A couple of fails, but you know, it's bound to happen with any knife company. It's really hard to tell just by looking at pictures on eBay, so that's why I get them, so I can see how they are. But anyway, thank you guys for checking out my video today. If you have any questions on any of these, if I breezed over them too quick, feel free to leave it in the comments. And enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Thanks.